just in. Kaitlin has lost her cool. She's going into the kitchen. She's grabbing another vanilla Coke.
Kaitlin is grabbing a knife. We are all scared.
I need more rum.
She's diluting her current rum and Coke with seems to be an eighth of a can of Coke. It is not good.
I had more Coke.
She said she needed more rum. She went and grabbed Coke.
Right,
this time cocaine. Her nose is powdery white.
Alright, I'm ready to go. Woo, woo, woo.
Welcome to Third Wheeln, guys. I'm Kenz, and I'm joined by the lovely Kaitlin.
Hello.
And the ever-amazing Alec.
Help.
As always, this podcast is just us shooting the shit, talking about random things that we find interesting in our lives or outside of our lives. So...
Caitlin's crying.
No.
Tell us your story, Kaitlin.
No, God, what story? There's so many stories.
Just start with the one with you on your break.
Anyway, our weeks have been crazy, so bear with us. It's been about 2 weeks since we've uploaded because everything's been insane. School starts in 3 days, and our topic of discussion tonight is anxiety, of course, because school's starting in 3 days. Why wouldn't we feel anxiety?
Everyone's
I
feeling it now.
only feel debt.
But we're going to ease you into the history of anxiety, the history of... What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
Anyway, we're going to ease you into the topic of anxiety, ease you into the topic of treatments for anxiety / female hysteria throughout history, as well as us talking about what we do to combat our anxiety, whatever that means. So, we're going to talk about our crazy weeks really quick.
Hell yeah.
Starting with Kaitlin and her crazy Burger King experience.
Alright, I got this because I got my rum and I got my stories.
You didn't get rum, you got more Coke.
Well, okay, I add more Coke to my rum.
I'll help you out.
So,
Sugar.
So these past 2 weeks, I've been driving home constantly, which is about 3 hours from where I live with my boyfriend. So it's been crazy because of that. But on top of that, a few days ago on my lunch break, I went to BK. And it's about noon, so everyone's going out for lunch, and it's crazy out. So I'm waiting through the drive-thru, and there's this woman in her van with about 4 or 5 teenage girls in with her, and she has all these coupons. She's waving around in the air through the window while she's talking and making orders, and she keeps changing the order over and over again so she can get the best deal, which, you know, I get you want to get the best deal, but it's the middle of lunch rush, and people want to get their food. I want my food. I'm hungry. I'm angry. So she finally makes up her mind, drives up, and I pull up behind her and I get my awesome nugs and Coke. So I pull up behind her and then all of a sudden I see her backing up into me. And I'm like,
The obvious
hell
thing to do.
no. Hell no. This is not happening.
It's time to tap the Rita.
Instead of pushing my horn on my steering wheel, I punched that motherfucker. I punched it 3 times, and she still winds up backing up into me. And on top of that, she pulls forward and backs up into me a second time.
As they said in the zombie movie, you gotta double tap.
I guess so. I have to be double tapped by this van.
Zombie car.
I think that's a different thing.
Anywho, so I am just dumbfounded. I just don't understand how she cannot see me and these 4 other pickup trucks behind me. This is just insane. This woman gets out of her van and I see her in undies and a bra, and she's like all crazy and trying to get her robe around her body and cover herself up. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I get out of my car, and this lady's waving her hands in the air like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and grabs my shoulders and starts shaking me around everywhere saying, are you okay? I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And I'm like,
is she taller than you or shorter than you?
She's taller than me. So
Right,
she's like an
hoping-
Amazonian woman.
That's even more scary.
She is
I was
an
kinda
Amazonian
hoping it
woman.
would've
It
been
was
like
Crazy
scary.
tall woman in a robe.
A robe, yes.
Shaking you violently?
Yes, with heavy set
You were
makeup
assaulted.
on. And I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Did she
you. Get your hands off.
microblade? Did she microblade her eyebrows? No,
Possibly. There's a high chance of that.
Anyway, okay, so she's shaking you, apologizing to you.
Yeah, apologizing to me, just being really crazy with it. And I'm like, getting her off of me. I'm like, okay, let's just check the damages. I look at my car. Surprisingly, nothing's wrong with it. No dents, no scratches, anything. So I'm happy about that. It's just like, oh, yeah, I just didn't see you. I was trying to back up and go throw my trash away in that trash can at the beginning of the line. And I'm like, who backs up in a waiting line for their food? Like,
People got a lot of trash.
and to throw away their trash. This is just ridiculous. Like,
I don't think there's a trash can at the beginning of the line at Burger King.
I
To be
don't
quite
know.
honest with
I
you.
have never,
I
not
always
the
felt
one
as
that
though it
I,
was the on the way out of the line.
Yeah, it's on the way out.
yeah, I mean, the one that I was at, I did not see any, but I just thought it was really surprising that she couldn't see me in a yellow car with 4 other trucks behind me.
I believe she was seeing other things too beyond trash cans.
Because she was kind of acting jumpy and like giggly too at the same time, which I don't know why she was happy.
So,
Those were the cotton
cocaine.
candy gnomes crawling in from behind your car.
Yeah.
They're giving her the giggles. Yeah.
But it was funny. The other men behind me are laughing and pointing at her too, and she didn't seem to notice that, which I thought was interesting as well. Plus, on top of that, she has other teenage girls in the van with her.
Were they laughing?
I don't think so. I'm sure if they were all with it, they'd
Besides,
be putting
like,
their
maybe
head down.
her daughter,
like,
they're
being
probably
really
just,
embarrassed.
like, being embarrassed as shit.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
what I would do.
I'd be like, Mom, why?
But yeah, it was funny. When she was done apologizing
again.
and we like figured it out, she got in her van and she started driving away and she almost forgot to pick up her food and had to pull back to pick it up. So that was the craziest thing that's happened to me in the past 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
yeah, interesting
That
stuff.
is Jesus.
What about you, Alec? What kind of crazy things happened to you?
I mean, the craziest thing that happened to me, I guess, is Kayla and I went to try a new pizza place. Wow, words. But essentially, they gave us the pizza. It's like one of those things, like it looks like a Caesar's Palace on the inside, except more Italian and more nice, I guess, is the Johnny's pizza place.
Johnny's looks like a Caesar's. What?
It looks like a Caesar's. It looks like a place that you're
Little
just supposed
Caesars.
to... Yeah, Little Caesars.
Looks like a Little Caesar's, not Caesar's Palace.
It looks like one of those places you're just supposed to go in, pick up your pizza, and leave. So I end up ordering the pizza. I'm like staring there with my credit card ready, and like, you don't pay.
Oh, I
you
need
don't
more.
pay. Then you go sit down. They bring us the pizza. Like, do I pay now? And they're like, okay, no, because it's not a restaurant setting. We're not being served. We go to the fountain machine to get our drinks, sort of a thing. Like,
You did look a little freaked out though. Like when we were eating the pizza, you kept like checking, like looking over your shoulder,
Like,
like
I was
seeing
just-
if they're gonna come over and
I
get
was just
you
waiting
and
for
steal
the
our pizza.
manager just to come barreling out at me, like, you were trying to steal our pizza. Like, no.
Yeah, he looked like a little shaky chihuahua. It was kind of funny.
Love it. Oh my
I mean,
God.
that was it. I just wanted to try some nice pizza, and by golly, it was delicious. But I mean, I was scared the entire time. I mean, the paranoia started to wear on me. So yeah, no, that's the craziest I got. How about you, Kenz? You got anything crazy, like wanting to pay for food?
I feel very attacked right now because of that. I'm sorry that I like to be a good friend and treat my friends.
I was gonna say, like, I came out just to have a good time, and I legitimately feel so attacked right
I
now.
really do. Anyway, no, my week hasn't been that crazy. I literally just worked a lot. Figured out how fast it takes me to walk from my home to campus, so that was fun. I did like tear open the side of my foot though,
Good.
because I
Good.
misjudged how much I would be walking on Wednesday, and I wore my Birkenstocks, which was not a good idea.
New
So now-
Birkenstocks.
Yes, they're a couple months old though. Anyway,
Oh.
but
Don't say they're new. Don't agree to that. Say no, Alec. They're fucking old.
not that old though.
My
a few
face
months.
is so
Anyway,
hot right
so
now.
I misjudged how much I was gonna need. Like I was gonna walk. I ended up walking to campus, up and down the hill, then back home, and so now I have an open sore on the side of my foot. But it's better now. It hurts a little bit. It's a little sore, but it's not infected or anything, so that's great.
It's always
You
good
don't
news.
want that.
We're not gonna
infection.
put a picture in the thumbnail. Don't worry.
Aw, come on, Kenz. So nice looking.
Anyway, that
How
was
to
our
pop open sores by Kenz.
Oh God, no. That's where I draw the line. Pimple popping's fine, but not like looking at open gross sores. Anyway,
How to perform a scrim graph on yourself.
go to How To Wiki. What do you?
Still love how to breed Pyrenees guinea pigs.
Anyway, so we're talking about anxiety today. I hope you enjoyed our little side comments about our weird, crazy weeks, because they have been pretty crazy and pretty weird, which makes sense because we're weird people, and that's what we're here for. Anyway,
It's the only way we know how to survive.
exactly.
Yes.
So, talking about the history of anxiety, we all took different periods in history. I took the ancient times. So if you just give me a second while I get my notes, keep them entertained.
Gotta get the.
And
then I pull out my lab
Everyone get
documents
your
here.
shit together.
Frickin'.
Oh, the telegrams coming through.
Does anyone speak Morse code?
I need more rum. Slurp, slurp, slurp.
So, back in ancient Greece, anxiety was known as hysteria. For any of you who know about like female hysteria or being hysterical, that's where this comes from.
Oh, yeah.
Very fun times.
I believe I know about it.
Yes, I would hope so. And
Don't look at me.
And during these centuries, anxiety was thought to be an only female problem. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense, right?
Oh.
You know? I don't believe they knew anything about... But yes, they did. Okay. So they believed that it was in fact caused by the uterus. Excuse me, I can't talk tonight.
The uterus.
Because
so that's why it bleeds.
It wandered around the body. Blocking passages, obstructing breathing, and causing disease.
So it's like a little gremlin crawling through your body.
Basically, and I kind of feel like the uterus is a gremlin at times.
It's
to
pretty
be quite
evil.
honest with you.
So you can see when the gremlin's trying to shoot itself up to start choking you, it has its little claws and starts crawling at the side of your uterus, and you start bleeding. That's when you get your period.
Yes.
Yes.
And it hurts, and you just want to punch yourself right in the gut.
You just want to end it right then.
Yep. Just get the fuck out of there.
Fucking kill me now.
So this is it.
Okay. But at the same time, they did have cures for anxiety, or at least they thought that they did. One such particular plant that they used was called St. John's wort, which is still an effective cure, homeopathic cure, for anxiety and depression used today. They would use it as salves, or you could brew it into tea. Nowadays, we just use it in pills. Yes, it's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I could do that.
Yeah, I like tea.
I love tea. Drink Arnold Palmer every day.
Exactly, boom. At this time as well, there was a school of thought called, the four humors, of the body. So it's like blood, phlegm, black bile, yellow bile, those things,
You're about to go Bloods, Crips, Skinheads. Freaking start turf war.
A turf war in your body. No. But at this time, they thought that these four humors, like if one was out of balance, that was the cause for your problems, no matter what problems they were, including anxiety and depression. So, bloodletting was very popular then and continued to be popular. I think Kaitlin will touch on that a little bit too. What?
What? Just like the bloodletting. It's how I relieve stress.
Yes, how do you relieve your anxiety?
I'm stressed. Cut.
Done by a professional, though.
Professional.
Not just yourself.
Yeah,
That's how people die.
It's done by a professional with a rusty razor. That's how it's done.
But, I mean, even then, doctors, they perform these things and then they die too.
Razor.
Anyway. So, yeah, the four humors, bloodletting was popular. If you had an excess of blood.
I like the
What?
idea. I am swelling up on the inside. Please let out some of the juice.
What? I have too much blood.
That's what they thought. They thought, if you had an excess of, bad blood, cue the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
They would, bloodlet you, or, perform bloodletting, and then for some reason, they would get the bad blood out of you.
All right.
And then if you had an excess of, bile, make you throw up, that kind of stuff.
Good
Yeah.
old-fashioned
For some
shots
reason, I was thinking of
Epicac.
poop when you said bile, so they squeeze the poop out of you.
No.
Your nice doctor sitting rubbing your tummy for freaking 30 minutes. You gotta get it out, man.
This is ancient Greece. We're not here for that. And then, of course,
They're just out there
there's
diddling
phlegm,
little boys.
which, I mean, phlegm kind of makes sense in a way. If you're feeling, sick, you have a bronchial infection or something like that, then that's when that makes sense. But very fun times in ancient Greece trying to deal with anxiety. If you were a man, I don't know what the hell they did with you.
You just diddled more little boys.
Alec, oh my god.
That's what stuck with me in history class. Quiet.
Oh yeah, the rampant pedophilia.
The rampant pedophilia, and the fact that that's how the master and apprentice relationship started going. I know the Romans also picked up on it.
Mm-hmm. It's more of a Greek thing, though, for sure.
There's one of those things oh, you want to be good in politics? I'll teach you for free if you get my drift.
For free.
For free.
For free?
Only $10 a week. I'm sorry. No.
Dear God.
That's so bad. I'm sorry. Kaitlin is the one with all of the notes, so I'll let her take over now. Because you have a lot.
I am used to taking up so much notes, and I get overwhelmed when I just talk off the top of my head. So this is just how it's done. So get used to it.
I tried.
Miss Ma'am.
I tried to talk off the top of my head. I should have taken better notes, but I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead.
No, it's your floor.
All right.
Put the drink down.
What errors did you cover, ma'am?
Quite a few actually. One with female hysteria, which you covered a little bit about.
How anxiety has always been a female problem.
Yeah. There's the whirling chair, opium, and then rest cure. So
okay, please tell us about the whirly chair, because
that's my favorite one.
You told me about that last night, and I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I showed Kenz at dinner last night a picture of the whirly chair, and yes. Well, actually, yeah. So it's a whirling chair. That's the name of it. It was created during the 1800s. Mm-hmm. That was the prime time of its use. So essentially, I guess you would, when a person was having an anxiety attack or hysteria or whatever it was and just could not be calmed down, they would take that person and strap them down in a chair, which, if it was me, that would definitely calm me down, being strapped down in a chair and having no way to get out.
I feel like these people weren't having anxiety attacks. I feel like they were having seizures. Like,
that was actually, that's a good point. That was another thing.
Okay.
Seizures, too.
It's like one of those things like Shovel wouldn't block between his teeth if he's having a seizure. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
don't want him to bite his tongue.
They'd either put him in a chair or they would lay him down in a bed, strapped down, and they would have this hook that they'd hook him up to at the top, and this other man on the other side, and would push this rod around that would make the chair spin at high speed.
Gotta go fast.
So basically, it's you
try to keep up.
It's you testing to get into NASA and become an astronaut. That's what you are doing, actually. By the way, it's not like you're having any issues or anything like that.
NASA astronauts are really relaxed. Very calm.
They just put them in a whirly chair and they're fine.
But they would spin them every day. They would spin them until they would start to throw up or they would pass out, which the effects were vertigo, nausea, vomiting, and then having accidents in their pants, so like pooping or peeing themselves.
Do you know if they did this inside or outside?
Probably inside institutions.
Yeah, they would do it inside an asylum. That's where it would be done.
Okay, because I feel like cleaning up that mess after vomit, after spinning really fast.
You think they fucking cleaned up, Alec?
Yeah, Alec.
This is the 1700s. They didn't know that germs came from shit.
Like, and asylums, the stories about asylums, they were just covered in shit and piss all the time.
Those
like,
are the bad ones. I feel like the ones with the whirly chairs were the good ones.
No.
No, asylums were good.
But
God dang.
That's the one that was most interesting to me. Sometimes they would even cover their eyes.
Yeah.
With a blindfold.
I feel like that would help. That helped me.
You could like pretend your eyes like somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, close your eyes. Oh,
fun.
This is like a really intense roller coaster, guys. Like, thank you.
So moving on, opium for overexcitement. This was most popular for Civil War soldiers. They were diagnosed as having irritable heart syndrome. So basically known as post-traumatic syndrome nowadays.
So it's not like female hysteria, it's its own thing.
Yep, and this is where men started to be recognized for having anxiety and depression, actually, which was really interesting. Instead of just
Civil War.
instead of just women. Not the best way to help them, but I mean, they were being recognized in some way, I guess.
I mean, everyone's hooked on morphine at this time. Not everyone's hooked on morphine, but most soldiers,
this a good amount.
Disease.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, opium,
But yeah, they, would go to a doctor, and the doctor would say, hey, we'll give you some opium, to help, settle your nerves so you're not so, anxious all the time. They'd also give them ethyl alcohol and then bromide salts. So not healthy at all.
I'm trying to think of what these things are. I have no idea what the fuck's being talked about right now. Bromide salts are... Anyway, I'll look it up. Just keep going.
Yep. Men were, what I was saying, being recognized for this. And sadly, these treatments weren't helping them at all. They actually, in fact, made it worse for them. So at the end of it, nobody was benefiting from this. So it's pretty actually sad. Another cure that I found that was popular in the 1800s was the rest cure. So they would take a person, bring them to an asylum, and they would be in isolation for about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Casual 6 to 8 weeks, 3 to 4 months
honestly,
of your life.
No human contact except with the nurse that would come in and feed them.
Okay, that sounded good. Like, 6 to 8 weeks of just like vacation. Like, yes, but no human contact. No.
And they couldn't
How
really.
dare you talk to another person?
And on top of that, they couldn't even walk around. They were not allowed to talk, write, or read.
Fuck.
There was nothing they could do.
That sounds terrible. Never mind that.
On
Like
top of that,
something.
their diet was just a milk-based fatty diet. That's all it was. So these
Them
people,
poops would be so creamy.
well, I'm sure this would definitely make them want to stay bedridden. I mean,
my God,
how heavy the diet was, they would
And then,
just
like, it's
feel
just
awful all
all
the time.
liquid, probably. Like, you don't have any kind of nutrition outside of that.
So
I
they
would want to stay bedridden, yeah.
So they were completely, totally dependent on their nurses to clean, change, do every human thing. Like, they were a baby. They were an infant again. Like,
Could
they
you
cannot do anything
imagine?
I
themselves.
feel bad for these
How
nurses.
good, like, bread would taste after that?
Or, like, fruit.
Or fruit or vegetables? Yeah.
If
They
they
go out,
ever
like,
get
bite
that
into a
again.
celery stalk, like, holy shit! Like,
You know what we should do? Let's go on a milk cleanse. Let's not do that. I'd rather, like, not die.
And on top of that, they get massage and electrotherapy on top of that, so
shit.
their muscles wouldn't deteriorate because they weren't moving at all.
That's
So
so
they had
crazy.
to somehow keep their muscles.
What time period was this?
The 1800s.
Still the 1800s.
Yeah,
So-
mid to
I
late.
feel like this is
So
really
they-
expensive form
And
of
a little
therapy.
bit. What?
Like, I feel like it's only the upper class doing this, because this sounds really expensive just to be taken care of all day like this.
Well, it probably happened to, like, I'm sure, okay, so let's take a step back. When they talk about, like, electrotherapy and, like, massage, I'm sure these people had no idea, like, what the fuck electricity
These are mostly
was, really.
experiments.
Yeah,
like,
it was
it
just like, here,
wasn't.
let me fucking shock you.
These
in
were
the
lab
ass.
rats, basically.
Okay, I was gonna say, these all sound really nice to me. Except, like, like the all-milk diet without being able to talk to people. I was thinking, like, you get massages every day.
Alec-
I mean, pardon the shock therapy. Like, that you're just gonna have to endure, but...
Yeah, keep in mind, this is not the 1950s where, like, it was, like, a very medical thing. They probably were just taking, like, electrodes and just, like, touching people in the face with them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Check if this is positive or negative. It's positive.
Is this on? Oh, shit, he's done.
But they said, reading some more on this, is that their main goal at the end of this whole period was to gain more weight and have a better blood supply in their body. That's how they would know that they were cured, which
So better blood supply, does that go back to the four humors, kind of? Or
Is
is that just, like...
Before they had too much blood, now they have too little blood.
Yeah, no, they thought that they were, didn't have enough blood, so that's why. So
okay.
they want to increase the blood supply
Okay.
to their brain because they thought they weren't getting enough. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
See, I
This
don't
is-
see how a milk-only diet could, like,
no,
could help you gain... I mean, I guess it could help you
Helps
gain
your
weight.
bone marrow, which helps your blood. So
Wow, these people never had osteoporosis, I bet.
No.
but it was a pretty bleak time.
Scurvy, yes. Osteoporosis, no.
It was a very scary time to, if you ever had any issues,
Yeah.
and even the tiniest issues with your,
Yeah.
like anxiety, for example, like, that's, you don't really want to bring that up back then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, no.
So, you brought up female hysteria. This is my
Yes.
last one.
Go for it.
So I'm just going to kind of go over a little bit of what you said before, just to refresh. Yeah. But, it was recognized as a medical disorder, in Western Europe. And the symptoms were anxiety, irritability, tiredness, and then for women to cause trouble for other people around them, aka their husbands.
Yep. Or their fathers.
Or
both.
fathers. Any male figure
any male
around
figure
them.
that was, like, giving them money.
Yes.
But yeah, again, it came from ancient Greece, hysteria, and it's where, the uterus wanders the body and interrupts. Yes,
Literally,
it's a creature of itself and wanders around your body.
Uterus. Imagine that.
And it's just there to create problems. It's there to just mess up and fuck up your life.
Medical people back then must have been so scared of, like, women and, like, their organs because, like, fucking, you gotta cut her open in the uterus, you gotta be careful, you gotta put up a shield, it could jump ya!
See, I feel like the physicians totally knew what was going on, but the people around them that weren't, understand those things were totally freaked out.
I mean, probably. I mean, even then, like, doctors were freaked out about, the body and stuff. Like, back in these times, they didn't know that germs cause disease or anything, you know? Or at least for like the first part.
It's mostly just like spirits and
spirits or
things.
you know,
bad air.
Bad air, exactly. I mean, you know, I feel like female hysteria was still a medical term until like the 70s or something, right?
Or actually it's more towards officially in the 50s or 1980s, I'm sorry.
So yeah, 1980s.
50s is another one, yep.
1980s.
Yep, 1980s.
So yeah, so
Not
for
too
the
long
first part of these diagnoses, people didn't know that disease was caused by germs or anything, and I mean, the idea of the uterus wandering into your brain and making you crazy, it might have made sense to people. I don't know.
I mean, it scared the shit out of me if I heard like my left testy went up to my ear and started whispering nothings into me. Like,
ooh, I wish that was one.
Oh my god.
I would be pretty freaked out.
They'd probably lock you in an institution like immediately.
Okay,
anyway, so they thought that the uterus was a wandering like thing in the body.
Yeah, it was. It had a mind of its own. It was a creature that lived within women, and its whole purpose was to cause problems for the women and the men around them in their lives. So in 1859, a physician named George Taylor believed about at least 1/4 of women have hysteria. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
So almost everybody. They would treat this by masturbating their patients to orgasm.
Woo!
Yes.
Finally, a treatment that sounds fun again. You guys gonna get angry at me for saying this one's fun as well?
No.
And fun times.
But I mean, imagine going to your doctor's office and he's just like, "Here, let me diddle you."
Oh, we're back to the diddling.
So, physicians, after a while, came together and discussed saying that, you know, this was just such a tiring procedure for them with their, you know, the hands and fingers.
Hand
It
cramps.
just, they would get hand cramps from this because they would have to work so hard to get the woman to orgasm. So they would eventually cramp in their hands. So, they worked together and eventually came up, with the vibrator.
Okay.
Yes.
I just think it's so funny. Like, do the like
he goes to the office. John, you got the hand cramps again?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, got the hand cramps. Well, I think we should make something that does this for us.
Work is so hard. I have to bring these women to orgasm every day, and my hand just cramps so badly. I have to go home and have my wife massage it every night so I can go back to work and give more orgasms to other women.
My wife is pissed.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'll just not love my wife.
Yeah, exactly.
If we want to go back to the scary side of this, I wonder what all those prototype vibrators look like.
Not bad, actually.
Not bad? Like, there wasn't any that were, like, just electroshocking women?
I'm sure that they had those, but, I mean, if you, like, look it up online, like, look up old-timey vibrator. I don't know.
It's like a freaking, like, a small refrigerator that sits next to your, like...
And it's just a little, like, thing with a cord that comes off of it. Like, yeah. You'd be pretty well off it. Well, yeah, actually...
Has clamps on it.
So the first vibrator was as big as, you know, a dining room table, and eventually they brought it down to what is now, you know, like about how big it is.
Whichever size you desire. It could be the size of your thumb to the size of your fist.
Yeah, so then...
size of your arm.
It eventually became available for women to take at home and help relieve their anxiety through...
Relieve their anxiety, yeah. You know that those women were just, you know, maybe some of them thought that they were like, oh yes, this is something that I need. Dr. John said I needed this, and then, you know, 2 weeks down the road, it's like, I don't even see my husband anymore.
I don't need him. He needs me.
So
you still had to have a doctor's note, right, to get these?
Yep, you would have to have a doctor's note.
You need special batteries.
No, you would go to the pharmacy and get this, and they would, you know, the doctors would have it pre-order for you, and you go there to pick it up.
Do you get to choose, like, the color?
Probably.
I don't know. Probably not. The doctor knows what kind of vibrator you need, so he probably knows what color you need. So.
What a great time the early 1900s were.
Exactly. And, you know, like I just said before, it lasted until the 1980s, officially, you know, as an official diagnosis. As I read more, I guess this was also a thing for men as well, but that just wasn't as well known. But it definitely...
Were women still being masturbated by their doctors in the 1950s? That's my question.
I did not find that anywhere. But I would not be surprised if
It's
that
just like
was
some
time.
back town rural.
Yeah, because I mean, the
doctor
1950s
kind of thing.
was
I'm
also a
thinking-
crazy time as well.
I mean, yeah. Ooh.
Yep.
Or like those hipster moms that go to like the alternative medicine doctor in their local city to get it off.
Oh my god.
Basically.
He's the only one that'll do it in the city.
So I thought this one was the most interesting one that I
Before, yeah.
researched. I couldn't believe it, but I was not surprised at
I
all.
really just want to do an episode on old-timey vibrators.
That'd be really
Oh,
fun.
God.
I feel like there's legit a play about this. I feel like Steph knows about it.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of it.
Yeah, right? The vibrator play or something. Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah,
Shiver, shock,
I love
rock.
it. My favorite part is that they get hand cramps and the doctors got together to complain about it
They're
and
just
find
like, hey,
something.
look,
We
we
need
need
to
to
hire
create
an
an
engineer.
electrical device
Yeah.
to get these women off. this
Oh,
Corona.
yes.
Anyway,
So, Alec, you're
Yes.
next.
Modern day medicine.
unfortunately, no vibrators.
Doctors are not jerking off women anymore. But instead we give you pills and other therapy things. So we're going to play a little game.
Okay.
The game is, do you still watch modern television? Because there's always ads for anxiety, depression, and
Okay.
all these other
I'm
medications.
ready.
So the four most common medications prescribed. If you know 3 or more of these, you still own modern TV and you watch it enough to know them.
Okay.
So just keep track at home. We got
Uh-oh.
Xanax,
Mm-hmm.
Librium,
Yes.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Clonopin,
Nope.
Nope.
and Valium.
Nope.
No, I only
No.
know the first two.
All right, I knew the Xanax, Librium, and Valium. The Clonopin one is brand new to me. That sounds awesome.
Well, I know Sertraline is one too.
Sertraline?
Mhm.
All right, I
Yeah.
didn't know that one.
Well, I know it because, I have a couple friends that take it for their anxiety and depression, so But I knew Xanax. Isn't there a Prozac or something?
There's
Another
Prozac.
one?
There's a lot of other ones, but those are apparently the 4 most common ones, I guess. So, yeah. Essentially, you're given medication now because doctors believe it is now a hormone or chemical imbalance within your body, which is making your brain trigger different nerve endings and stuff. And, yeah, so you need to get in them nerve synapses and
Lack
fuck
of one
shit up.
chemical, excess of one chemical,
Yep.
all that good stuff.
You gotta balance your body's inner demons.
Isn't it like a... No, wait, that's depression, where it's like a lack of serotonin or something.
Yeah. The anxiety, they don't have a complete hold on it because everyone's anxiety can be different nowadays.
Interesting.
So you can have anxiety that's caused from stress, anxiety that's caused from trauma, like you were in a car explosion recently and lost 3 babies. Like
Holy
that.
shit.
A car
Yeah.
explosion!
Yeah, you're driving an old Ford Pinto or something.
No, what's that? Oh,
It's not
shit.
Ford, what is it? It's just a Pinto car, you get rear-ended and sealed in and it blows up.
Or your Galaxy Note 7 blows up.
Yep. You can also get it from if you're going on like a hike up to Mount Everest. You can get low O2 or oxygen for you normal people, and you start get you can get what was it, anxiety from that. Jesus. And then you can also get it if you get medical illnesses. You can get it for other things as well. Substance abuse. So if you're abusing opium because you believe the Civil War method was the right way, it could make it worse. Could make it
A little
worse.
bit.
Valid.
Might make you crazy, actually,
Yep.
in fact.
So you shouldn't get diddled by your doctor.
Don't get diddled by your doctor. I
Just
mean,
take the
unless
pills.
you
The diddling's
really
so fun.
like your doctor, you can diddle with him, and if you're of the right age.
Yes.
I do not know a doctor that's under the age of 18, so you must be 18 or above to diddle your doctor.
No, I'm talking about your doctor diddling you.
patients can diddle their doctors? Is that what you're saying?
If you go out, buy them dinner, have a nice date, and you both consent to it,
Wait, no, not
Wait,
on the
that's a little
first
too
date.
much work, actually.
hey, you can go.
I just want to diddle him on
I'm
the spot.
I'm talking about your doctor diddling you.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, there's. I imagine.
hell?
No matter what.
I guess
Hold
okay,
on.
so if
He
you're,
isn't
if you're
diddling
married,
you.
if you're married to a doctor, it's okay.
If you're married to it, it's fine. Or you can find one of those street side doctors. One of them, my favorite's name is Candy.
Oh,
Candy.
no.
She sounds like a great. She sounds like. Does she have a medical degree?
I never checked, but she has a piece of paper hanging in her office that we tear down every time. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God,
It's all a
I'm so
joke,
sorry.
Caitlin. It's a joke.
I think
Prostitution is illegal in
I
our
think
state.
you need to find a different bed for mine now. I don't feel
Wrecked.
safe.
Ooh, yes. No, all a joke. Prostitution's illegal. Yes.
Except in Las Vegas.
No,
Wink,
it's
nudge.
still illegal in Las Vegas.
It's legal in Nevada.
There you go.
Yes.
And it's highly regulated, I guess.
Yes,
but then,
it is.
But
It's
then beyond
actually
medic.
clean.
Well, yeah, you go to the brothels.
Cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
The Bunny Ranch or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
so keep talking. I have a fun fact to say at the end.
So yeah, and if you don't want to do medication, if you don't believe in abusing your body with certain foreign objects like pills, you can do therapy, which you can do like the standard lie down in the chair therapy. There's all types of therapy nowadays.
Freudian therapy.
But especially in modern days, you can do over the phone therapy. You could do video chat therapy.
Holy shit.
Where I think technology has gone too far, you can get a therapist to text you, and you guys can have text conversations to calm it down.
I have done therapy
gone too
through
far.
texting and over the phone, just because of distance or whatever. But I was like, could I actually talk to him over the phone? And like, yeah.
That's so crazy.
Sweet.
Could you do therapy VR?
If you have $800,
I need more on now.
Rift. Wait, you bought it? Did you have a computer could power it? Just drop $800 more. Got your 1.6 grand in the debt. You gotta pay your $2,000 therapy bills.
Coming this fall, therapy VR.
Oh god.
Anyway,
Accountant VR took it too far anyway.
so fun fact for you that Kaitlin nicely just passed to me on the table.
I can't talk right now in straight words.
She has had
Sorry.
that run that she wanted from the beginning.
There you go. Anyway,
She's a happy.
85% of major depression is diagnosed with anxiety, and 35% of that is a panic disorder.
Yes.
Very interesting. So if you have depression, most likely you probably have anxiety as well,
Or vice
which is
versa.
very interesting. So manic episodes, depressive episodes, all that good stuff. Now we come to the topic of what we do to manage our anxiety. I'm pretty sure I for sure don't have like a anxiety disorder per se, but you know, everyone feels that level of anxiety that they have when stress takes over and stuff. I mean, I'm for sure feeling it. I have to write a 40-page research paper at the end of this, so I can get my degree. Very fun times. So yeah.
Congratulations.
What do you guys do to manage your anxiety?
I actually do have anxiety and depression. I do take medications for, but you know, medication doesn't actually work all the time or 100%.
Yeah.
So, kind of really stupid things, but I do some things like listening to music, reading, going online, researching. I love researching other things I just don't know about, just to keep my mind busy.
Wikipedia is a wonderful place.
It is. I like it a lot, actually. I love drawing. That's my thing. I'm trying to teach myself how to do graphic designing right now. I just recently switched to make that into my major. So it just anything that keeps my hands and thoughts busy, like that,
Exactly.
it helps me a lot. And then talking and having friends around. You know, constantly making plans. Even if I don't want to make plans and I want to be lazy, I tell myself no, because I'm just going to go into a lower, darker place if I don't keep myself with other people around in my life.
Exactly.
Yes.
That helps a lot.
What about you, Alec? What do you do?
Well, I know one of my problems is I always get nervous when I don't check my emails. So I check my emails. Generally always helps me feel a little bit better. And then if that doesn't work, I can always go out. I can work out or listen to music, kind of a thing. I love running. It's one of my favorites. I haven't done it in a while, so I probably need to get back on that train with, you know, the bum knee and all that.
Yeah.
So then also, big fan of comfort foods here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fried chicken, waffles.
Chicken, waffles. I could eat a loaf of bread just by myself in one day if I needed to.
He does. We have to always buy bread all the time.
I like
And
the
that
grain.
gives Kaitlin anxiety.
Yes, that gives me anxiety.
Everything that relieves me in anxiety passes it on to her. I like to sit down and, you know, play the video games. That helps me detach from real life and find my alternate universe and where I could be like Thorin, the god of, I don't know,
Thunder.
spin to win.
What? Oh.
Something just kind of funny, actually, when I think about it, is something that makes me really anxious all the time is shopping. Grocery shopping specifically. Before I even go there, on my drive there, I get really tweaked out, and I'm just angry all of a sudden. I'm like thinking I'm going to run to somebody I know that I just don't want to talk to, or there's just going to be a bunch of old people everywhere that are going to get in my way, or a bunch of like bigger families that are going to get in my way, and just people in general. I don't know. I'm not a people person, I guess, as you can tell, but that's something that really gets my heart racing, and I kind of, I breathe, I just lose my breath. Like, I just can't do it. Sometimes I actually have to walk out, go sit in my car, and then get back out and go back in there. Yeah.
Understandable. Well, the way that I manage anxiety, very similar. Working out helps a lot. I haven't worked out, though, in quite a while, so I probably should get on that as well. But that definitely helps. You know, just thinking about something else, or just having your mind blank and doing something is really helpful, I found, for me. Listening to music, hanging out with friends. I hate isolating myself from people. I'm a quiet person, you know, I don't like to, be out in large crowds all the time, but just hanging out with friends, going and doing something really, really helps. And, making plans with people, I totally feel that, Kaitlin. Same here. Having my friends with me, distracting me, having a great time, always nice with dealing with anxiety. There's not much that gives me anxiety, though, besides school.
Yeah.
School is probably the only thing that gives me anxiety, and also work, as, always. And even this kind of gives me anxiety, but it's good anxiety. Good stress. Yeah. Good stress. Managing your good stress with your bad stress is always a good thing to remember.
And it's actually healthy for you.
Exactly. I know I always work better when I'm under stress, but at the end I feel very, very tired and I just want to sleep for 3 days. So, there's always that too.
Get
Two
around
sides
to
of the same
that
coin.
12-hour mark of sleep, then you wake up, it's like, Jesus, I shouldn't have done that.
Oh my God. I've been there, done that. It's an interesting time.
Today.
Yeah, today. Most days when I am able to sleep.
You gotta load up on it during the weekend.
That's true. So then you can not sleep during the week. No. Kidding. So, is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
No, that's pretty much it.
All right.
Does anyone else bloodlet other than me? Go to my doctor, throw some leeches on me.
Does anyone else get diddled by their doctor?
Oh, God.
In the comments, tell us your ways that you deal with anxiety and stress, as well as some funny stories from your crazy weeks that you've had. We'd love to hear them, and we will see you next time. This has been Third Wheeln. Remember, shoot the gap, love your lamp, and just be good people to each other.
Yes.
And if you might think you might have anxiety, there are online tests, but you should always consult your physician before diagnosing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Thank you guys for listening.
Take care of yourself
soon. Yeah.
Bye.